Alright, so there's been this whole thing going on YouTube about this whole conversation about heaven and hell. I know that Jack Together for Peace has made a few videos on it, and I've seen some other people make videos on it too. I haven't watched all of them just because I don't have the time to really. But I just watched a video of KingHeathens on the subject. It just kind of bothered me, so I just wanted to respond to it real quick. And just so you know, I'm extremely sleepy, so I'm probably gonna say something stupid and have to edit this later or something. So if I say something stupid or if I'm incoherent, well, it's probably just because I'm not very smart, but it could be because I'm sleepy. So yes, cool. Um, so KingHeathen began his video by responding to some dude. I don't even know who he was responding to. And okay, so this person that he was responding to said that that when you're in heaven, you're not going to be thinking about bad things, basically. So heaven is going to be good because you're not going to be thinking about these bad things, because just like how we now, we're not always thinking about the bad things that are going on. So in heaven, why would we be thinking about these bad things? And KingHeathen responded by saying, yeah, that could be true. That or now we might not always be thinking about certain bad things, but then once you stop doing whatever you're doing that you're having fun with, you eventually realize what's going on with poor kids getting beat or something like that down the street, or Africans starving, and so he was saying, so even if you're in heaven and you're having this absolute bliss, then aren't you still going to remember these sort of things, and would that still bother you, and I guess make heaven more crappy? If I'm understanding what he's saying right. Again, I'm pretty sleepy right now, so that's what I understood him to say. And yeah, I definitely understand what he's saying. There's a lot of Christians. I always hear Christians say that that when you're in heaven, that you're not going to remember anything, that you're not even gonna remember people that you see, because if you remembered anything bad that happened, then that would just take away from heaven. And really, that just bugs me, because that's found nowhere in the Bible, and that just diminishes the glory and the joy of Christ. I think, I honestly think that, I don't believe that we're going to forget everything that happened in this life when we get to heaven. I think the whole point of all these bad things happening is because it brings more glory to God. I think that it'll make heaven all the more amazing. And I think that we're just going to be so overwhelmed, by being in God's presence and seeing His glory in person, that we're not going to be concerned with these sorts of things. I mean, I know for me, I've gone through some difficult things the last few years, especially when I became a new Christian. Stuff, with my parents and stuff. Just went through some stuff, and honestly, okay, obviously it bothered me, right? It bothers anybody, divorce, stuff like that. But honestly, I had moments where I was just so overwhelmed by God's glory that nothing else really mattered, And if that's just here on earth, where we have all this sin and pride still, then when we're in heaven and we're just in full view of God's glory, I really don't think that will. I think that'll be taken to a whole new level, Later on in his video, KingHeathen was responding to some dude, again, I don't know who it was, who was saying, who was basically asking KingHeathen how he sees the Christian view of hell, like what, his understanding of the Christian view of hell. And in this part of his video, I guess it wasn't really that important, it just annoyed me. KingHeathen said, "Oh well, I view it as being non-existent. Why is it so hard for you to understand?" That's just annoying, because okay, obviously you don't believe in hell because you're an atheist, but he was asking you, okay, how do you see how Christians see hell? How do you see what Christianity teaches about, how do you see the Christian view of hell? Obviously everyone knows you don't believe in hell. Anyways, that was just annoying. Another part, so confusing how it's on the opposite side. So if I see something wrong with my hair and I try to fix it, it's on the wrong side. And he was talking about how he actually this could all go together. Sorry, I have these different points here. So he made this really huge error in understanding of Christian theology. He was talking about God taking people, and because they don't believe in Him, sending, just handing them over to Satan to be tortured for all eternity. That's sort of like the popular view of what hell is, but that's not what Christians believe. At least like educated, biblically founded Christians, that's not what the Bible teaches. The Bible teaches that hell is God pouring out His wrath on you, not Satan. Satan is having wrath poured out on him too by God. He's being judged too. Very clear that KingHeathen hasn't read Revelation. We'll see that even more in a little bit. Anyways, yeah, it's just annoying. So he was saying, like, if God does all these like horrible, mean things, and then says that He's going to hand me over to somebody else, well then, why am I going to trust God over this other person, Satan, that he's saying is so horrible? Which we've already talked about. It's just it just doesn't reflect Christian theology. I mean, he just doesn't understand what he's talking about. But he does. I just think it is kind of interesting how he talks about how mean the Christian God is and how He does all these horrible things, like killing pregnant women and stuff like that. And he just like talks about it like it's so bad. But given your worldview, KingHeathen, how can you say that that's a bad thing? I mean, how is that any less moral than when you tuck your daughter in goodnight? Or what is your basis for determining what is moral and what is immoral? That would be the question I would like to ask you, because you're borrowing from our worldview. So this last part that I want to respond to, it's really not that important. It's just annoying, He went on to talk about how when Christians talk about the pearly gates in heaven and the streets being made of gold and living in a mansion, all these things, how this is just stuff that Christians have added to their view of heaven, that it's not really from the Bible, that is just kind of added from other religions at the time, other myths, but that it's not really found in the Bible. So yeah, this is one of the reasons. Going off what he said earlier about God handing us over to Satan, and then all this stuff that I just said that he said, that really has me convinced that he has never even opened the book of Revelation, because I really don't understand how he could say that. First of all, I'll just read you Revelation 21:21. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls, each of the gates made of a single pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, transparent as glass. Alright, there you go. And the part about the mansion comes from John 14, where Jesus talks about going to prepare a place for His followers, and how His Father's house has many rooms. So yeah. Anyways, I guess it wasn't that important. It's just annoying that He would say it's not in there when it's in there. Cool, so thanks for watching, guys. Sorry if this is kind of a boring topic. I just felt like making a video, and I don't have anything to do, so yeah. So post any comments or video responses if you want, and thanks for watching.